Sree Maathrey namaha. The divine blessings of our Mother Divine Radha Maha Tripura Sundari and Father Divine Lord Mahadeva. Today we'll make an attempt to understand a very important and powerful stotram about Subramanya Swamy, the younger son of Shiva and Parvati. Subramanya's birth is celebrated today as Subramanya Sashti. Everything to do with Subramanya Swamy typically goes around with number 6. Therefore, is called Shadanana. We have discussed in the past many stories about Subramanya Swamy's birth, which comes in Ramayana, when Rama and Lakshmana were being escorted by Vishwamitra to teach them the whole Dhanur Vidya Vedam. Subramanya Swamy's birth story was basically told to Rama and Lakshmana by none other than the great Vishwamitra. Then in Mahabharatam, the Subramanya Janam comes twice in different forms of stories in the different parts of Mahabharata. Now today is celebrating the Subramanya Sashti, the 6th Tithi in the Hindu or Sanatana Dharma Panchangam. We will make an attempt to understand a very powerful stotram from the Rudra Yamala Tantram. As we have discussed in the past, Tantra, Mantra, Yantra are the 3 legs of Sanatana Dharma. Mantra and Yantra, to give an example that we often quote, if television is considered to be an Yantra and remote that can control the television is considered to be the mantra, mantra being what can control the object, okay? Then Tantra is the science on knowing how to operate on the mantra, or in this case, the remote. Knowing when to press the volume button, when to press the program, what is the desired outcome, therefore what button needs to be pressed on the television. Now, there are many Tantra Sastras. The Rudra Yamala Tantram essentially is one of the most important ones, that when Parvati Devi, it's called Rudra Yamala or Rudra Yamala Tantram. When Parvati Devi asked Shiva about different approaches on how the devotees following Bhakti Margam, Jnana Margam, Vairagya Margam, or other margas can reach the creator or source of creation. And in Rudra Yamala Tantram, there is one stotram that is given, which has been kept very secretively. And almost 28 years ago, Guruji revealed it to some of us when we were being initiated. And a couple of us have asked Guruji about the distractions and the obstacles that come in the path of meditation or dhyana. Now, Guruji said, if you can tap into your inner source of Saraswati or the Devi that is in your form, Saraswati is the flowing knowledge, then you would be able to overcome these obstacles. And Subramanya, essentially the God, will help us get that knowledge accessible in the form of Paramatma. And therefore, Guruji has given us an access to a stotram called Pragnya Vivardhana Stotram that talks about the 28 names of Subramanya. And these are extremely important for every one of us who are on the pursuit of aggregating and gathering knowledge before it starts turning into applied wisdom. And therefore, we will make an attempt to understand this, the Rudra Yamala the Pragnana Vivardhana Stotram that talks about the 28 names of Subramanya. On this birthday of Subramanya, we will attempt to discuss those 28 names. Before that, we will offer our prayers. Shrikanto Matlosa Janisara Mangala Janka Shankaro Mahadeva Tom Mande Gajananam. Vimalapati Kamalakuti Pustak Rudraksha Sastastapati Kamakshi Pakshmalakshi Kalta Vipanchi Vibhasi Varinchi. Anojavam Maratulya Vegam Jitendriam Buddhimatam Vrishtam Vatatmajam Varnutumukyam Sri Ramadutam Sirsanamami. Subramanyam Subramanyam Subramanyam. Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Pahimam Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Saravana Bhava Rakshamam. Shivashikta Yukto Yadi Bhavati Shakta Pravitum Nache Devam Devo Nakalu Kushala Spanditum Pyatastvam Aradyam Harihara Virinchadi Birapi Pranantum Stotum Vakadamakrata Punya Prabhavati. Subramanya Swamy is often considered to be the god of immunity. He's the Sarva Sainyadpati, or the chief commander of armed forces of all the divine forces that are there in our body and in the whole cosmos. Therefore, when we pray to Subramanya Swamy, he continues to protect us and our health. And Jagadguru Adi Shankaracharya has proven this in the Subramanya Bhujangam, which we'll discuss in another class. But today, the Rudra Yamala Tantra's Pragnya Vivardhana stotram is what we are attempting to discuss. It goes on the 28 names. Yogishvaro Mahasenaha Karthikeya Agni Nandanaha Skanda Kumara Senani Swamy Shankara Sambhava Gangeya Tamrachudascha Brahmachari Shikidwaja Tarakari Umaputra Krauncharcha Shadananaha Sabda Brahma Samudrasya Siddha Saraswato Guha Sanat Kumaro Bhagavan Boga Moksha Falapradaha Sarajanma Ganadisha Purvajo Mukti Marga Krit Sarvagama Pranecha Vanchitada Pradarsanaha Astavishanta Namani, this 28 names, Madi Yaniti Yapatet, whoever chants, Pratyushe Shraddhaya Yukto, whoever chants with trust, faith, and bhakti, Muko Vachaspatir Bhavet, even if they are born as dumb, cannot speak, they will start picking up the power of speech or Vak Devi. That's essentially what this talks about. What are these 28 names? Briefly, we'll make an attempt to understand these 28 names. Even if you chant these 28 names and not the stotra, you will get the effort, the results and the effects of chanting the stotram. The first one is Yogishvara. Yoga Ishvara is yoga plus Ishvara. What is yogatvam? Being one with nature. Yogishvaraha is the one who is the leader of all the yogis. Yogi plus Ishvara, the one who has divine qualities and is also following his father's footsteps, who is the Mahayogi. Therefore, Subramanya is called Yogishvaraha. The second name is Mahasenaha. Since he is the leader of all the armed forces of the divine, he is called the Deva Senadipati or Mahasenaha. The third one is Karthikeya, the one who has been breastfed by the six Kritikas, the nakshatras, the stars, the mothers who have taken the feminine form to breastfeed Subramanya as he was just born in the Himalayas. Then Agni Nandanaha, when Subramanya was born, the semen of Paramashiva that moved out of him because of the Shiva Shaktya, the Shakti of the mother, when it descended on, nobody could carry, and all the gods went to their messenger Agni Deva and asked him to carry it for some time. And when he attempted carrying the semen of Shiva, which gave birth to Subramanya, Agni Deva, the god of fire, was burnt by the fire of Shiva's semen. And therefore, Subramanya is also called Pavaki or Agni Nandanaha because he carried Shiva's stages for some time. He is also considered as the father of Shiva, and Agni Deva could carry Shiva's semen because Agni Deva is one of the Ashtamurti Tattvas, is 1/8 of the Paramashiva. If you go to our Arunachalam, we pray there to Shiva in the form of Agni Lingam. Therefore, Subramanya is called Agni Nandanaha here because whoever touches Subramanya or whomever Subramanya touches, he will consume all their papas. Just like fire turns everything into ashes. The next namam, Skanda. Skanda is basically the one who is born from the Shiva's semen that descended is called Skanda. Kumara. Kumara is applicable to Subramanya Swamy and Subramanya Swamy alone because he is basically always in that young form of Brahmachari, and Kumara who is in the early 8-9 years of age, who is extremely cute, and as a little tiny toddler who is turning into a little boy. Therefore, Kumara is a name that is applicable generally only to Subramanya Swamy, right? Then Subramanya, Kumara, and Senani. because he is the armed forces. Sena plus Senani essentially is the leader of all the armed forces. In us, there are many forces, the divine forces that are taking lead, and all these forces are being protected by immunity. And therefore, when we meditate, when we generally follow the Sanatana Dharma, our immunity goes up because Subramanya gets reinforced and therefore able to fight the evil elements that are very much there within us, therefore ensuring the victory of immunity and maintaining ease over dis-ease of the body, and therefore ensuring health continues to be a priority. Then the eighth namam is Swamy Shankara Sambhavaha, because he is born from Shankara, Shankarotiti iti Shankaraha, the one who does only good things. His son will also naturally do all good things. And Swamy Shankara Sambhava essentially talks about the one who is born from the Shiva Tejasu. Then the next name is Gangeya. Since Subramanya is born from Shiva's Tejas, and the Ganga Mata, Gangeya, is also applicable to Bhishma if we look at Mahabharata Parvam, right? Since Ganga Devi saw how Shiva's Tejas descended and therefore gave birth to the boy, Mother Ganga also carried Shiva's Tejas, being the second wife of Shiva, and she carried after Agni Deva descended it. Ganga, mother, she bore Shiva's Tejas for some time, and then because she bore Shiva's Tejas for some time, she is also credited as the mother of Subramanya Swamy. And then the next namam is Tamrachuda. Tamrachuda is basically, there was a Rakshasa by the name Tamrachuda who essentially was causing a lot of trouble. And this Rakshasa was in the form of a chicken. Subramanya not only killed him, and in the process of killing, that Rakshasa asked, can you basically take the hens or the chickens as one of your vehicles? And then Subramanya took it as his vehicle along with the peacock. And then the next name is Brahmachari, the one who is following the schedule of Brahma, and therefore following Brahma plus Acharana is Brahmachari, the one who is following the Brahma schedule of whatever the Vedas prescribe. If we are following that schedule, it's called Brahmachari. Sikidwaja, the one who has Agni as his. If you go to temples, you will see the Dwajastambam. When Subramanya Swamy, if you're going to Subramanya Swamy, you need to get cleansed because you're going to see the son of the fire god. Fire himself stands as a purifying dwaja to all the devotees before they can approach. And Subramanya Swami's dwajam is Agni. Then Tarakari, Tarakasura is a Rakshasa, and Ari is the one who brings an end to that. Tarakari is basically like Krishna is called Murari. Tarakari is essentially Subramanya Swami was born to kill Tarakasura, and therefore is called Tarakari, the son of Shiva and Parvati. Umaputra, a lot of people think Subramanya Swami was not born to Uma Devi or Parvati Devi. He was very much born from the lake, which is a form of Uma Devi or Parvati Devi. When mother was leaving the Himalaya and the house of her parents after getting married to Shiva to go to Kailasam, the Tejas of mother was kept in one of the lakes there, and that lake is where Ganga carried, Agni Deva carried the Shiva Tejas and made it enter that lake in the Himalayas from which Subramanya was born, because Subramanya, an avataram of Sanat Kumara, which is also a name that will come. Sanat Kumara gave the boon to Shiva Parvati when they were roaming one evening around. And Shiva said, you should be born as my son. He said, I will be born to you as son. And then mother asked, what do you mean by born only to him as son? He said, mother, I can't do Garbhavasam because that is considered to be a hell and punishment. So I want to be born to father. Then mother gave him a boon saying, even I want you to be born as my son. And he said, I would be born to both of you, but I can't live in the womb for 9 months and go through the pain and trouble. Therefore, show me another option. And then mother asked him, how would you be born? Then he himself explained to mother that he will descend down from Shiva in the form of Shiva's semen that would be carried by multiple people before it is entered into the lake in the Himalayas, which is an avataram of Parvati Devi herself, and therefore giving that boon. We'll discuss that in the next few names that will come. Then after Umaputra Kraunchari, there was one Rakshasa who was in the form of a Parvata, and Subramanya killed that mountain form Rakshasa who was Krauncha, and therefore bringing an end to Kraunchari. And this same Rakshasa would also take the form of peacock. Therefore, peacock and hen are used as the vehicles of Subramanya Swamy. Interestingly, Subramanya Swamy is a form of snake, and peacock and hen both kill snake. But in this case, essentially, the Kundalini is represented by Subramanya Swamy. When you're talking about a peacock and a hen, both of them carry the snake in the form of Subramanya on top of them. So essentially, wherever a person starts praying to the supreme consciousness, their animals naturally will forget their animosity and will come closer. The another secret here is Subramanya, whose Bijakshara is Sa, Ra, Vana, Bhava, which has come, each akshara has come from each of the 6 faces. And these 6 faces, when we pray to Subramanya with this Bijakshara, Sa, Ra, Vana, Bhava, they control our Kama, Krodha, Mada, Matsarya, Lobha, Moha, the 6 enemies that are there in all of us. Kama, anger; Krodha, desire; Kama, Krodha, Mada is arrogance; Mada, Matsarya, jealousy; Lobha is essentially greed; Mada, Matsarya, Lobha; Mohas is infatuation. All these 6 are controlled, and this is what the next name Shadanana means, from which the Bijaksharas have come and which will control our 6 enemies that are in there, the devilish, evilish attributes that will be turned into divine. Anger needs to turn into an anger in the divine form when we don't, when we get angry on adharma, that is essentially using anger for the right reasons. When you are getting desires that can be channeled to go into a temple, helping the needy, and therefore wanting to sit in silence and doing your best to help the needy. This is how you transform the 6 elements of evil to 6 elements of devil to divine. Then the next namam Shadanana, after that we have Shabda Brahma. Shabda Brahma essentially means he is the form of these Shrutis, which the Vedas that have been learnt by the rishis who heard it from the Parabrahma. When they focused on the Parabrahma, they learned. And therefore, Sabda Brahma Samudra. Shabda Brahma Samudra means that infinite ocean of knowledge, which is the Veda Sastras themselves. Siddha, he essentially is a Paripurna Brahma, Paripurna Parabrahma himself or itself. Therefore, he could give the Omkara Diksha to Shiva when Shiva, after giving a boon to Bhrigu Maharshi, forgot his Brahma Jnanam because of the condition Bhrigu said, which we discussed in one of the episodes. Then Siddha Saraswataha. Saraswataha is essentially the form of moving knowledge and Jnana Swarupa. The 20th name is Guha, and he essentially is in the form of Guha. When his elder brother Ganesha won the race to become Ganapati, Subramanya, being the younger son, naturally was disappointed. He came to the Sri Saila mountains and stayed in a cave. That's what the story generally goes. But Subramanya, essentially, when we say Guha, he is living in the cave of our heart, with the heart pumping and the blood getting supplied to all the organs. He is protecting us in the form of immunity, staying ensured. He is supplying the blood to all the organs and also ensuring the immunity and vitality in all of us are being maintained. Therefore, Sa, Ra, Vana, Bhava mantra essentially means before the Shivatvam in you and I goes away and we turn into Shivatvam, from alive to dead. Ravana Bha means Ravana as voice, the different Bijaksharas. Bha is wanting to know that infinite ball of light from which everything is born and which is the center of the whole cosmos. Like our Earth as a center, everything is a center, but where is the cosmos center? Scientists are trying to understand that. That's essentially what Guha means, who is in the center of everything and trying to do. Bhagavan Sanat Kumaraha, I discussed the story on how Sanat Kumara, who was one of Brahma's Manas Putras, was born himself as Subramanya. And this same Sanat Kumara is one of those rishis who sits at the feet of Guru Dakshinamurti and learns everything that has been taught in silence in Maunavyakya. Okay, this story has been proven by Sri Chandrasekharendra Saraswati of Kanchikamakodi Mahapeetham. The 22nd name is Bhoga Moksha Phalaprada. He gives bhogas that can be enjoyed in whichever ashrama we are in. By giving all those bhogas, he will also give the ultimate bhogam of moksham, of being, that being the last janma, and he himself can bless bhoga moksha phalaprada. And then Sarajanma, basically the Saravana Tatakam, which is a form of Mother's Parvati's form in the Himalaya lake from which he was born, is Sarajanma, essentially talks about that name of Subramanya being born from the lake, which is the form of mother. Then Ganadisha, the one who is the commander of all Ganas, Adisha. Okay, he is all the head of all the Ganas, Devaganas. Then the next name is Purvajaha, right? Since we are talking about the Paripurna Brahmatattvam of Subramanya being the Paramatma, Purvaja means he has no birth and death. He is going through the cycles of taking birth just because of the boons the Devas have given. Otherwise, he is the eternal source of that Paramatma, which is taking different avatars, Leela avatars, and avatars are being taken because of the boons that are being given. In this case, Tarakasura, after mother sacrificed herself as Dakshayani after listening to the insult of her husband from her father Daksha, who did not invite Shiva to the homam that he performed. She sacrificed her body by invoking the Yoga Agni in her. And therefore, the Tarakasura asked, when Shiva gets married, knowing very well that Shiva is without his consort at that point in time, then Shiva was in the Dakshinamurti form, where the Vama Bhagam, Vame Shakti Devam Vakaraya Namo Nama. Vama went, the left part went into the body, therefore, only the Dakshina part, the right part is left over, therefore, it's called Dakshinamurti. And that is essentially what we are talking about here. Purvaja means the one who has no birth, talking about the Parabrahma Tattvam of Subramanya Swamy. And then the 26th name is Mukti Marga Krit, the one who will show the Mukti Margam. The gurus will show the Mukti Margam. Therefore, Muthuswami Dikshitar, one of the great composers in Carnatic music, who was also a great Srividya Sampradaya, Srividya Sadhaka, always would address Guru Guha, saying Subramanya Swami is the guru who actually showed him the Mukti Margam. And this Subramanya Swami, the 27th name is Sarvagama Praneta, essentially the one who is the root of Sarvagama, all agamas. Praneta means the root of all agamas, all sastras. And Vanchitada Pradarsanaha, and the one who fulfills our boons, not those that we ask. If they fulfill the boons that we ask, sometimes we'll ask dangerous boons, not knowing, how they can trap us. So Subramanya fulfills our boons that will help us prosper to our best of the abilities. These are the 28 namas. Chant them, make the kids chant. If those who chant, in them, the Saraswata Shakti or the power of the wisdom will get ignited and they will have very good Vak Shakti. They'll be able to speak fluently, explain very clearly. And these 28 names of Subramanya Swami are basically from the Rudra Yamala. It's called Pragnya Vivardhana stotram from Rudra Yamala Tantram. And those who are chanting these 28 namas of Subramanya Swami every day, they will see on how they start understanding everything much better, how their intellectual facilities start developing with the blessings of Mother Saraswati, which will be accelerated by Subramanya in the Parabrahma Tattvam. This is a brief attempt to share the 28 namas with all of you, which was shared by my Guruji with me almost 3 decades ago. And here celebrating the Subramanya Sashti, please spread these names with all your loved ones and chant them every day to reach your best of the best in this life form itself. Sree Maathrey namaha. Stay blessed. Mangalam Guru Shri Chandramaulishwarage Shakti Ganapati Sharadambige Shankaracharyanige Kala Bhairavage Kali Durgige Veeradhira Sura Hanuma Maruti Charanage Mangalam Guru Shri. We will meet in the next class. Sree Maathrey namaha.